Hello my dear friends and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. So much to talk about today. The Acolyte, Boba Fett, Andor Season 2, how we're so excited for that. But first, the show that everyone is talking about at the moment, The Acolyte. This time, Amandla Stenberg has reacted to the controversy and the fan backlash, more specifically to the first episode, the killing off of Master Indara, Carrie-Anne Moss's Jedi. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole controversy surrounding the small knife, how that was able to kill her but Reva survived a lightsaber, none of that kind of thing, just simply the way the series started and the way the tone was set. Fans were saying, why did you kill off Space Trinity in the very first scene? With such acting caliber, why did that have to be the opening? Why couldn't this have waited for a later episode? Why didn't we get more of her? I understand this frustration, but it's meant to be deliberate. Amandla says we're supposed to be feeling this level of frustration. In essence, she defends Leslye Headland's choice. This comes from MovieWeb via Variety.com, and they say The Acolyte's opening episode caused quite a storm on its arrival by killing off a character who, according to the show, and its marketing was said to be a big part of the newest addition to the Star Wars franchise. And keep in mind, my dear friends, we've not seen the last of Master Indara, she's in flashbacks. And I've seen some speculation that she might still be alive. I don't think so, but let's carry on. In a new interview, the series star Amandla Stenberg has shared her thoughts on the shocking introduction to episode 1, and the daring decision by showrunner Leslye Headland is one that really helps set up the unexpected nature of the series. The Acolyte has not had the best start when it comes to audience reactions, with the show's Rotten Tomatoes approval rates crashing to a franchise low of in the 20s. And I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of review bombing, I'm just going to focus on what Amandla Stenberg said. Here's the quote. I thought it was a good tone setter for the show. It demonstrates the Jedi are going to take some losses, and the good guys and the bad guys are not always who you think they are. Now, I put out a crazy theory the other day, and even if that's wrong, which a lot of people who saw the video reminded me they think I'm absolutely insane, I don't think everything is as it seems. Whatever that's going to mean for the series, I don't think we can trust what everyone is saying. The way the show's edited seems a bit off. I think they're setting up some bigger twists to come. We can't trust the words of Osha. There is something more which I don't know what they're alluding to, but that is what Amandla Stenberg is saying. Could you imagine if Indara is still alive? But I think what she is saying and what a lot of the stars of the show have been saying is just give it a chance. We've only had 2 episodes, let's see where it goes. There are supposedly some really big controversial things happening in the next 2 episodes, so let's wait to see and judge for ourselves. And also the fact they wanted a bold, daring opening where May is after revenge, and the stakes are raised. Yes, the most experienced Jedi Masters can and do die. And as I said in my last video, I can't wait to see what happens with Kalnaka, the next of May's targets. And so finally on the subject of The Acolyte, we had a new teaser trailer a couple of days ago which has one frame which is pretty insane. This is Osha going to the island, which we think might be Ahch-To, and I don't know if you guys noticed this, but it was the only planet where they didn't give us the name in writing on the screen. They showed us Olega and Kofar, all the other ones, but the place I think is Ahch-To was not given a label, and I think that is very important. It seems like Osha finds the lightsaber of the Sith, from the trailer, the masked Sith, and also she finds Jedi robes. This is very interesting. We don't have the context and enough plot clues to know who these belong to, but I think it all goes back to the biggest twist of who is going to be under that helmet. There are definitely some things which are exciting about what's coming up in The Acolyte. I'm still holding on to the idea that there is a bigger twist than just twins, and I think it's important for those who are going to watch the show to give it a chance. I've personally had many criticisms of the first 2 episodes, but I'm still holding out hope it leads to something impressive, a good Star Wars story in the end, and I'll keep assessing week to week. There is more and more evidence that Boba Fett is returning for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Many actors from The Mandalorian and the Ahsoka show have been cancelling various appearances at cons. Morrison was one of them, and now there is another update, this time concerning Perth Nova, one of the biggest Australian pop culture events. They posted, due to unexpected schedule changes for an upcoming production, wink wink hint hint, Morrison sadly needs to cancel his appearance in Perth and sends his apologies. Now we know production on The Mandalorian and Grogu is set to start very soon, if not already in pre-production. And to me this signals that Boba Fett, the daimyo of Tatooine, is going to be back for Jon Favreau's film. That is super exciting. I'm a huge Boba Fett fan, and say what you will about the book of Boba Fett, Morrison is brilliant in the role, and he is always such a fun, lively presence. I just want more Tem, and this is fantastic news. They say scheduling clashes, and it was the exact same thing last time. Very excited to see what they do with it. It's a huge departure, and for those fans calling for a second season of Boba Fett, if Temuera Morrison is in the movie, that could set up the second season if they want to do it. Ming-Na Wen is down, Temuera Morrison is down, and a lot of the fans have been backing him up and saying it may not have had the impressive heights of Mando Season 2, but it was definitely fun, in hindsight, and also given some of the shows that came after it. It definitely has its flaws, but at times I think we were being a little bit critical, and I definitely think with a bit of a better story, Boba Fett's return could be bigger and better than ever before. Tem deserves it. I'm here for him, hoping that this happens. In other Star Wars updates, Andor Season 2 gets a massive writing credits list. We can now see who wrote each episode, 12 episodes once again just like Season 1. The Gilroys, both Tony and Dan, share the majority of the writing duties, with 3 episodes by Beau Willimon once again. He is the famous writer of the Narkina 5 arc, which were the 3 episodes 8, 9 and 10. Narkina 5, Nobody's Listening, and One Way Out. And a new voice to the Star Wars universe, Tom Bissell, famous for Uncharted, Batman Arkham Origins, and The Loneliest Planet. And in a relatively recent interview, Tony Gilroy revealed there is something very interesting in the second half of the season concerning Saw Gerrera. We're going to see the rebel extremist, maybe at his most extreme, who knows. And while we're on the subject of Beau Willimon, who is also working on Jedi Prime, The Dawn of the Jedi movie by James Mangold, there is a rumour stating an A-list celebrity singer, female singer, just had lunch with Mangold and Willimon to star in the upcoming movie about the first ever Jedi, and the majority consensus seems to be it's Lady Gaga. She's doing quite a lot of cinema work at the moment. She was in A Star Is Born and the upcoming sequel to Joker. But is she going to be too familiar of a face for a Star Wars movie like this? Is Lady Gaga going to play the first ever Jedi, the Jedi Prime? Or is it just going to be for a smaller role? Some have stated this could be Taylor Swift. I highly doubt it. In either case, do you guys think it's a good idea to have an A-list celebrity at the top of her game in the music industry to be playing such a prominent role in the Star Wars universe? I'll let you decide down below. And so finally, my dear friends, Forbes have put out a list of the top-ranked Star Wars series and movies, and they've basically gone from the top critic and audience scores to the lowest. It's interesting because I find myself in disagreement with most of it. Let's take a look. Let's begin with what I do agree with. Episode 5, right at the top. Empire Strikes Back as number 1, absolutely. If I had to say what I think is the best Star Wars movie ever made, Empire reaches number 1. And I definitely agree with A New Hope at number 2, although sometimes in my own rankings, this is where I would put Revenge of the Sith. Return of the Jedi they put 3rd. I think this is where I personally would put The Phantom Menace. I know that's quite controversial for some. The Clone Wars show then comes at 4th, they then put Rogue One. The Rise of Skywalker number 6, with all due respect if you like it. For me it's a big no, I would not put it that high. Andor number 7, I mean for me it is the best of the Star Wars series, probably joint with Mando seasons 1 and 2. They then put Force Awakens, again I'd put Star Wars Rebels above it, any day of the week. Bad Batch, also fantastic show. Mando comes 11th. I guess what's interesting to me is how far down The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones are. I know they weren't the best received Star Wars movies, but in the grand totality of what we've been receiving in the last few years, I'd put them way higher. Ahsoka coming in at number 12. Then they got Visions. I would put it lower, personally. Solo is a bit low. Book of Boba Fett definitely doesn't deserve to be below the Kenobi series in my opinion, so I would have Kenobi lower than Boba Fett. Resistance, not everyone's cup of tea. I think it's definitely not as bad as some people say. The Last Jedi, Clone Wars movie, Acolyte, and then Holiday Special, I think The Acolyte is a bit harsh to be put second to last because we've only had 2 episodes. But I definitely disagree with the positioning of some of these. I don't think Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones should be this low. Book of Boba Fett definitely a bit higher. And Revenge of the Sith, I don't even see on this list. That's so strange. Well, there you go. That tells you everything you need to know. But look, this is me just critiquing this list. It's not me giving you my definitive Star Wars rankings list. I'll probably do that separately because it changes all the time. But Empire and A New Hope being right at the top, I have no issues with. But what do you guys think? Share your thoughts on everything we spoke about in this news update in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you, always.